Hello, welcome to another episode of Manifest Conscious Crypto. My name is Oto Gomes, I'm your host. And today we have, for the second time, Dr. Edward Group, where we're going to talk a little bit more about P and a lot about crypto. I love it. So let me go ahead and invite him in. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Everyone is welcomed. I love this. I love doing this, guys. Y'all make me so happy that you actually tune in and watch me do all this stuff, because without you, I'd be talking to myself. So I appreciate you guys stepping in and filling the space. All right. Give me 1 second for him to join. All right, let me invite him. Maybe he needs to be invited. I gotta do code words for him because we've had issues before. So Dr. G, there he is. Oh wait. Oh wait, it's not letting me. Okay, he has to join my live. So give him a second. We'll get him in here. There he is. Alrighty. Well, if you guys are excited as I am, there he is. Hello.
Hey. Oh, good to see you.
Good to see you too. First off, thank you again for joining me. Hopefully this one goes a little smoother than the last time.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Well, for those of you that don't know Dr. E.G., I don't even know if I want to say your name. I'm just thinking about that now. This is Dr. Edward Group. He is an amazing individual who has gone through decades of medical research on so many different things, specifically something that, specifically two things that I believe are super, super important to healing. Which first is purging, like cleansing your colon, cleansing yourself out of all the impurities and parasites and all the things that our bodies are infested with, and also on the most medicinal thing that your body can create, which is your urine. Oh, we're going to talk about that. But more specifically, I really want to dive deep into a little crypto talk. I kind of want to start with that and see where you're at in the crypto space. I know you're doing an NFT project. So with that, let's begin. Tell me about this project and what it is that you're actually working on.
Yeah, so crypto is one of those fun subjects that I love because it's a way to decentralize from the real world in a certain way, but not necessarily disattached from it, but enter a world of decentralization where there's not control by a small group of individuals or a small group of companies, and more community-based, and actually really, in my opinion, a way to transfer assets away from the dollar, which I think is going down and down and down. It's just a very interesting and exciting field for me. And NFTs are the same. I mean, NFTs, the non-fungible tokens. What we wanted to do is we've been really trying to help the planet and help as many people as we possibly can for years. So I wanted to do an NFT project where it's basically the Global Healing Society. It's kind of like a real, organized NFT project, not like a rug pull type of a thing, but it's more of a slow and steady wins the race. And we've got one of the top artists in the world. Her name is Chelsea Evans Starr. She's got incredible art. Paris Hilton collected her art, and some of it just sold at Sotheby's. But she's really behind us as far as the mission. And the mission of the Global Healing Society NFT project is people who really have a passion and desire to heal themselves, to heal others, and to heal the globe. I mean, and that's what the whole mission is about. So we're going to be the first NFT project. She's a 3D artist, so it's actually going to be a 3D rendition, which moves and has chakras and has geometry built into it. And it's the first NFT project that combines a unique group of the solfeggio tones. So where when you play the actual NFT, not only will it be visually appealing with different color therapy and different geometric therapy, but it's also going to heal you with the sound that comes out of it. So it's actually the first NFT that you'll be able to play and actually heal the body. So we have multiple solfeggio tones that are designed to heal stress, anxiety, depression, release emotions from past lives, or release emotions you've been holding on to for a long time. Working at the cellular level, the 528 hertz frequency, to help repair your DNA, to help detoxify you. So it's a combination of different hertz frequencies that we are working with a really good sound master that is putting these together to where this NFT will be a healer. So we're going to be launching 3,333. We're calling them healers, legendary healers, and so I'll have more information coming soon on that. But the whole goal is to have a community evolving NFT project that is based around people that have the NFT will have certain access to the Global Healing Institute, other organizations. Not just going to be revolving around us, but you know, any other organization that they feel can contribute to helping heal themselves or healing the planet. So it's pretty exciting, and I can share, we're in the beginning stages of it. We're hoping to launch the actual art by Earth Day, April 22nd next year. And then we will also have rent out a spa at Art Basel in Miami, which was a huge success this year for NFT artists. The first time ever in the history of Art Basel, which is the largest, most exciting international art festival in the world, every year in Miami. But up until this year, it was just, you know, very stuffy. Like, let's look at some Picassos for sale, or let's look at, you know, Van Gogh. Don't get me wrong. I've been an art collector for a long time. I love physical art. One of my favorite artists is Royo, actually. And, but anyway, this year was a whole new community in basically all of Miami was taken over with hundreds of thousands of people, and there were all kinds of parties and all kinds of celebrations for this new metaverse kind of profile picture NFT world that we're going into. And so that's very exciting. However, the Global Healing Society is all around detox and cleansing and cleaning up the Earth's soil, cleaning up the Earth's air, cleaning up the Earth's water, and doing really good things. So next year in Miami, we're going to have a spa, and everybody from 1 to 4 or something like that is going to be invited to the spa. Most people will probably be hungover from the night before, but that's not what our mission is about. Our mission is about health and healing. So I'll be doing seminars, and people can come in and get free juices and spa treatments and massages and infrared saunas to kind of sweat out and to detox and to cleanse their body. So our presentation will be more geared around health and healing and detoxification. So we're also doing a healing token. The healing token we've already secured, which is HLNG. It's not listed on any exchanges or anything like that yet, because we're still trying to figure out and work out the utilities and the ecosystem and work in that manner. But for example, we have some really cool ideas of when we really want to reward people. Ultimately, the goal is to reward people for doing good things for the planet, or doing good things for themselves, or doing good things for others. So we're just trying to work around that ecosystem now. Like, for example, if everybody gets on a call, for this call, for example, I mean, we're helping people. We're going to give people great information on, like, right now, today, they can literally change their lives for the better. So we might do something like, anybody that joins in the call, if you're on the call for the whole time, you might earn, you know, each person might earn 2 healing tokens or something like that. We have a lot of ideas, but it's just getting all those things working properly behind the scenes and getting that ecosystem and those smart contracts and all that stuff working efficiently.
Wow, I love what you're creating. I mean, and by the way, thank you for explaining all of that. You really went a little more in depth than I was prepared for, but I wrote a bunch of questions down as you were talking. I love what you're creating, which I've always said that true decentralization is not really going to start on a global level. You know, a lot of these people in this industry are trying to push global, 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 where I'm like, dude, you're trying to fight the globalists. They're professional, you know, launcher of global level stuff. So I've always said that decentralization is going to start on the local level, where you get 500 people, 1,000 people using a separate blockchain for themselves, within themselves. And so I love that you're creating this, because you're literally, you know, starting the process of creating a marketplace, creating your ecosystem, creating the value within your own audience and following. All you need to do from that point forward is copy and paste it to other audiences and other organizations, smaller organizations, and then you guys can start, you know, trading against each other and create your own market. I mean, I love that. I love that. So, you know, like you said, this is in the beginning stages, so I'm sure you're still going through we call it the tokenomics, which is just the structure at which, you know, you gamify the sales process, the distribution process. I mean, it's a whole layering thing, and I understand the complexity of that. And I love the healing aspect of it, because you can almost write a white paper called or based on proof of healing, or like I even wrote down healing. What was I thinking? Well, I just proof of healing. Like you can explain how. Well, if you learn it, you know how you can go to Coinbase and do like learn and earn.
Yes.
If you learn something, you get money back. This could be a heal and earn.
No, exactly. Like people can go through a course, you know, like the Global Healing Institute course, and when you finish the course, you get rewarded, or doing good things. I mean, it's what we really want, though, is we want the community to help us evolve that. You know what I mean? Like we'll start off. I'm a big fan of staking, and I'm a big fan of utilities that really involve people on a daily basis. There's so many crypto projects out there and NFT projects where it's just, you know, they market the heck out of it, and they get people in, and then it just kind of fades out. This is more of a long-term, slow and steady wins the race. That's how I am when I'm into crypto investing. I mean, we started investing in 2017, and it's kind of the Warren Buffett strategy. I'm a big time hodler. I'm not a day trader, a week trader. I like to pick good projects, good teams, and then invest in those teams, monitor those teams, and then wait. I mean, the predictions that I had years ago, working with indirectly remote viewers and some psychics, was that the year was 2025, 2026 is when we're really going to see more adoption, and, you know, don't sell until those days. Although, you know, you do have to keep a close eye. You know, you do have projects that are failing and coming up and down, you know, at different times. But I like the model, especially if you look at the B app or the Pi app. You know, I like the way that they don't, even the B white paper is very similar to kind of what we're doing. But the B app, for example, you know, it's kind of similar, but I also like looking at user experience in crypto and in NFTs. And I think that as far as user experience, I mean, if you have 25 million people coming to your app every single day and clicking the B to keep it flying, you know, including me, like, honestly, I don't even, it's hard for me to keep up with most of the crypto projects that I'm in right now. But every day when I get that message to keep my bee flying, I go over there and I click the bee and keep it flying. So that's open source software. And so we have 4 things that we're looking at. We're doing, we have a mining operation, which is already up and running. We have the app where people can actually mine and earn healing tokens, which would be based off of the bee app algorithm and open source software. Except ours will be someone like basically meditating and holding a globe, and the globe, you know, is spinning, and when it stops, you have to keep the globe spinning to heal the planet.
That's
and then
so
we
cool.
have the token, and then we have the NFT project. So we have 4 things that we're kind of merging together and figuring out how that's going to work. As you know, the NFT and the crypto ecosystem and tokenomics is an ever-changing, evolving system, especially when you're looking at all these high gas fees right now on Ethereum. And so we're in the process of looking at different ways to accommodate, especially people that are really, like in our industry, in the natural health industry, a lot of people don't even know what a wallet is. It's a barrier to entry. It's a pretty strong barrier to entry to buy an NFT. They have to go get an account on Coinbase. They got to link their bank account. They might have to wait weeks to get approval. Then they have to set up a MetaMask. Then they have to link, it's still, there's this still barrier to entry. However, there's some teams that we've been working with right now that, especially in the NFT space, it's in beta right now, but there's a platform which is basically like a Shopify for NFTs, where there's really no barrier to entry like that. You can basically run your community on that site. Someone can come buy an NFT with their credit card, so they don't even have to go through that whole process. So I'm very happy that we're starting to see the evolution of the barrier to entry get smaller and smaller. I could send out to our millions of followers and lists and say, hey, look, be part of this healing thing. And all they would have to do is go onto the community website and buy a healer with their credit card. Eventually they could get we would teach them how to get their they would hold that in a secure, obviously they would still have a smart contract associated with that, or let's say their individual ID for their NFT, but interesting things happening. So, and the reason why there's a huge community, most people don't know this, and they're just barely hearing about the metaverse right now, but not too long ago, there was a concert in the metaverse, and there was more people watching that concert than watched the Super Bowl last year. Now, that is, to wrap your head around that, the Super Bowl has been the most watched event in history for, ever since I was a kid, right? Hundreds of millions of viewers or whatever it is. And for the first time ever in the history of our world, we had more people in the metaverse watching a concert than we did watching the Super Bowl. And so that's how big and that's how fast this digital world is growing. And people say, well, I don't know about the metaverse. I don't know about this whole digital world. Well, if you calculate the amount of time you're on the computer and you're on your phone and you're on social media, we've already been living a good majority of our lives in the digital world. And so I look at it as we want to help people unify again. In the outside world that we're dealing with right now, we have a lot of people and big companies and mainstream media that are dividing us. They're dividing us. They're censoring us. They're keeping us. They're hiding information from us. They're lying to us when it comes to practically everything, including how to get healthy. So they're taking away our freedoms. And so this digital world, we're seeing a massive amount of people shift in because you can be whoever you want. You can be free. It doesn't matter what your political beliefs are. It doesn't matter what your religious beliefs are. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It doesn't matter. People are becoming unified, and they feel like they can talk about whatever they want to talk about and not be censored, not be harassed, not be thrown in jail, not have their bank accounts seized or whatever. And that's what's happening to people in our industry right now and other industries that are coming out and telling the truth. They're being, we're all being harassed. I was on the phone with someone yesterday, and they're under investigation. We're all being labeled as domestic terrorists or supporting domestic terrorism and all this, which is just malarkey. We're just out there telling the truth. We're out there trying to help people every single day and share with people what's really going on behind the scenes and what's really happening that they're not finding through the mainstream media channels.
I'm glad that you went down this road of the metaverse and it's the what's happening currently in mainstream media. I've seen, I think, 3 or 4 announcements of big stars announcing their version of a live stream, like a concert, a metaverse concert. I think it was like, anyway, it's happening. You're right. It is happening right now. And yeah, I've seen numbers, crazy numbers, like these artists are making 2 to 3 times more than they would doing a live concert. It's insane to me, with like the cost being close to zero. So I guess my question for you is what are the cons of this? Like, how can this become a very destructive layer of this reality? You know, I believe that there's duality in everything. There's a benevolent and there's malevolent actors in everything. So how do you see this being a very destructive force and a constructive force, both sides?
Well, that goes back to everything in our lives. When you look at how the universe was created, when you look at our own spirituality, when you look at karma, there's always has to be a balance between negative and positive. It's the yin and the yang. It's if you look at anyone looks at their life, they're always going to have times where they're, going through tough times. If you can really balance it out pretty evenly between the negative and the positive in your life. That's just the way it is on this low vibrational planet that we're on down here. So there's always going to be cons, or let's just say there's always going to be a balance between negative and positive. And that's just what we have to live with. And when I say it doesn't matter if you're in the real world or if you're in the metaverse or wherever you are, it's just that's the way it's going to always be. There's always going to be people that are at a lower vibration, that are on a lower level of consciousness. That's what we're seeing right now, actually. I believe that we're really going through the Great Awakening right now. And I've talked to so many high-level people, billionaires, millionaires, movie stars, famous people, non-famous people, it doesn't matter. But the reason I say famous people, millionaires, billionaires is because they always request to talk to me. And honestly, they're some of the most unhappy and unhealthy people on the planet. Like, we see this facade of these movie stars and these billionaires flying around in their jets and all this stuff. And it's like people want to be like them. And children, they just did a survey at Harvard, and the children's, what are the 2 most important things that you could have in your life? And the number 2 answer was to be famous and to be rich. We've lost our values. Wow. Like, we've lost our values of communication. And I think that when we talk about communication, that would be a downside. Because I've watched this happen. Like, I love to talk to people face to face. I love to be around people. It's an energy that we're around. And I've seen the shift especially over the last 10 or 15 years, where people are meeting each other online. They're texting. We've become a society. Like, we used to just pick up the phone and call and talk to people, especially like in business. If something wasn't there or you're waiting on something, you pick up the phone and call them, or you talk to them, or you travel out and you develop face-to-face relationships with people. That's something that's been on the decline. I think that's going, and that, with the metaverse and with the more digital reality, and especially getting into VR, I think that there's just no way to stop it, unfortunately. And I think that we have to go through that, just like we're going through this Great Awakening right now. Most people would see the world as chaotic and very damaging and very negative right now, but we've been screaming from the rooftops for 20 years about GMO foods and poisons in the food and in the oil and gas industry and big pharma and all this, and the control that they have over society, and no one's really listened. However, the story that I was getting to with the clients that I've had, they almost have to. People almost have to hit rock bottom. They have to lose everything before they change. Like the interviews that I've done with severe drug addicts or alcoholics or people that had severe addictions, they say, it was so bad that they lost everything. They lost their family. They lost everything that was important to them. They lost all their money. They had, going through the roughest, hardest, chaotic time in their life. And all of a sudden something just shifted. And then they basically reached rock bottom. And then when that shift happened, they never touched alcohol again, or they never touched drugs again. And I think, and that's what's happening right now, because if you look at society, we've all become addicted. We've become addicted to social media. We've been addicted to money, addicted to fame, addicted to all of these different things. And we've lost reality of who we really are and our true self. And given up ourselves and our soul to the outside instead of going inside of what we should be doing, practicing more meditation, practicing awareness, practicing mindfulness. And so people have to go through this to realize that, and go through the trauma and go through the pain and go through the suffering. It's like you have to sometimes go through the darkness to reach the light. And that's what we're going through right now. It's just everybody's on a certain level of consciousness. You know, like our level of consciousness, people on a high level of consciousness that work on their enlightenment, work on their awareness a lot, it's very hard for them to understand how the lower level of people on the lower level of consciousness are thinking. Okay, and we're seeing that. We're seeing a lot of division right now because there's people that really get the truth and understand the truth, and they can't figure out, why do these people not see this? You know, why do they not get the truth here? You know? And it's the same the other way around. The people on the lower level of consciousness are looking at the people on the higher level of consciousness, and they're asking the same questions because they believe they're right. They believe they have the information. They believe they have the truth. So, you know, that's kind of what we're going through, and we're seeing a slow shift. Now, obviously, there's going to be people on the lower level of consciousness that will never be able to transform, but we're also seeing people starting to rise. I mean, every day I get stories and I get people sending me their what happened, and they were saying, you know, this is where I was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and then all of a sudden my mom or somebody in my family was sick and got damaged, and they had a bad experience with the medical community or whatever that transformation was. And now and now they're becoming more conscious, and they're becoming awake. Like, you're becoming awake and aware to actually pay attention and notice things more than what they were doing before.
Wow. I love that you explained all that, because yeah, we have been put into a state of hypnosis for so long. And these last few years, things have really shooken up, and people have really kind of have to be presented with an opportunity to either go deeper into the fear or really choose to snap out of it and get out of this reality and do something different.
And that's just why everybody on this call right now is a hero. You know, because we are the next generation of heroes and teachers. The true definition of a doctor is not a prescriber, it's a teacher. It's going to be up to us to lead these people. We're not going to be judgmental of anybody. We're not going to judge you for what you decided in the past, and judge you for your belief systems, judge you for your political beliefs or your religious beliefs or anything like that, because in reality, we're all souls, okay? Like, we're all brothers and sisters, and if you take away this covering right here, and if you take away the mind, the soul can only transmit love. That's it. And so that's what we're going to be here. And that's why we need so many people, the people that are listening right now, that are transitioning into that higher level of consciousness. Because guess what? I mean, we're going to be the ones that are going to be needing to help these other people transition to a higher consciousness, and being there for them and listening to them and helping to guide them into the next, you know, awakening, the awakening that's taking place.
So that's a great little segue. What would you advise those that are watching? What are some practical steps that they can start moving towards that, and towards not only, you know, healing themselves, healing their bodies, healing their family, if it's possible, if it transmutes, but also, you know, having that freedom, financial freedom, and all that good stuff?
Well, the best thing, I always go back to understanding the root cause, because that's how I started. I mean, I was brainwashed myself, actually. I was studying allopathic, and I was believing everything that I was being taught, and it's opening up your mind to all possibilities. And I think that always starts with education. You know, we could talk all day long about education and how what's going on with our kids, and how we've been led to believe, and we've been educated in ways that do not teach us how to be in touch with our body, how to communicate properly, how to manage our finances, how to have faith and hope in some of the things that we do, how to be an entrepreneur. Like, actually, if you take all the things that make somebody successful spiritually, physically, and mentally, none of that is taught in schools. And that's, that goes down a whole nother rabbit hole about why that was designed that way, because they don't want you, if you have a group of people and companies that are trying to control the world and control you, they definitely don't want to teach you all the secrets of how you can become more conscious and how you can live and thrive and survive. So I always come back when people ask me that question. This step number one is always education and understanding the root cause of why we're in the situation that we're in today. But ultimately, I always tell people to understand their body and understand why they might be feeling ill and what the root cause of all their health problems are. And that is, in simplicity, all your emotions, all of your, whether you have a fungus or dandruff or arthritis or heart disease or cancer or headaches, it doesn't matter. Every single condition or symptom is caused by two things: a toxic external environment and a toxic internal environment. It's really that simple. So a toxic external environment is going to be what you're watching on TV, what you're reading, the friends you're hanging around with, your home. Are you sleeping on a memory foam mattress? Are you sleeping with your cell phone next to you? Are you being exposed to electromagnetic frequencies or harmful EMFs? Do you have mold in your house? Those are all, are you in a toxic work environment? That's something that I heard over and over and over and over again, because it was always two questions that I asked these individuals. And the first one was, what would you do different, or is there anything that you would change? And they would always say, yes, I wish I would have. So you want to avoid the I wish I would have's, because it was always like, I wish. They spent all their time trying to make money and trying to run a business and everything, but they forgot about themselves. They forgot about their family. They forgot about their friends. They forgot about everything important. And every single one of them said, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish I would have spent more time working on my health. Because when you get to that point where you have all the money in the world or all the fame in the world or whatever, the one thing you can never, ever get back in your life is time. Time is actually the most valuable thing that we have. So it's not money and it's not fame, it's time, because it's the only thing that you can never get back. So don't be in that situation where you say, I wish I would have quit my job years ago. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. I wish I would have, done all those things. And learn about your body, because the best solution is to detox your external environment and to detox your internal environment. Now, the things that create damage in your internal environment are going to be the foods that you're eating. What are you drinking every single day? How much, stress and anxiety can be caused by toxins or your external environment. And so that was our job for the first 10 years of my career, was to identify the root cause of all disease and then figure out how people can eliminate conditions and disease from their body. And it was so simple. And we've been using the same thing for years. It's like all disease starts in the gut. All health begins in the gut. So step number one is always cleansing and healing your gut. If you're suffering from any symptoms, not only is your gut messed up, but your liver is congested. So step number two is cleanse and heal the liver. Then step number three is to eliminate all the parasites and harmful organisms from your body. And every single person has an accumulation of those. And step number four is get rid of all of the chemicals and the heavy metals and the pesticides and insecticides and heavy metals and just all kinds of man-made synthetic chemicals that we've been accumulating in our system for years. And the last step is to work on your emotions, because emotions do have a really hardcore effect on the body. And the fear and the anger and everything that we've been going through over the last couple of years has really had a detrimental effect on the immune systems of everybody. So that's a long answer to your question of where to start. But the first place I always start is with yourself. I mean, it's the best place to start. Do you feel healthy? Do you feel self-confident? And then And then after that, then I would say, you know, look around your external environment. You know, once you start fixing yourself, then you can say, am I hanging around the right people? Am I watching the right stuff on TV? If you're not on alternative media by this point in time, then you need to make that switch over to Telegram or to Brighteon or to Gab or to, you know, anywhere else that you can actually get truthful information. But I'm not saying that there's still not a need for Instagram and Twitter. I'm not a fan of them, but we wouldn't be doing this show right now if we weren't on. So, you know, everything has its uses that we can use to communicate with people and to help people. And then I would say start looking at diversifying your assets. I mean, I can tell you that, you know, I am in contact with some high level people. The dollar has been falling for years and years and years. And, you know, when you own hard assets like gold and silver, I mean, what I've been told and talking to these people that are on, you know, really heavily into this, they're investing in colored diamonds, they're investing in gold, they're investing in silver, and they're investing in cryptocurrencies. And land. I mean, if you want to get, you know, land is the one thing, though, that, you know, you can't really take it with you. For example, most people don't know this, but colored diamonds over the last 3 years have had a 387% increase in value. That's a pretty good return. You know, gold and silver are pretty much going to stay. You're not going to get like a 5x, 10x, 20x unless we go into a severe inflationary state, which actually we've been in an inflationary state for quite some time. It's just, you know, we're just printing money and printing money and printing money and printing money. So I like land, I like colored diamonds, I like cryptocurrencies, and I like gold and silver. I actually like silver way more than I like gold because it turned in a lot of my gold for silver because silver is extremely undervalued. Now, the thing is, if you need to bug out, if you need to leave somewhere, if you need to barter, you can get a handful of diamonds for not even that expensive, the tiny, tiny ones. You can travel. Like, you can literally take millions of dollars with you and go wherever you need to go by holding colored diamonds. It's kind of like one of those things that, you know, at least that's what the rich millionaires and billionaires are doing because, you know, I mean, even some of the musicians now are buying pink diamonds and stuff like that for like $20 million. I
was gonna say, or you can memorize 12 mnemonic words and put any amount of money.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the
crypto.
decentralization and the beauty of you being able to go anywhere because, you know, I'm in Texas right now. Florida is a really good state. Texas is a really good state to be in. Arizona is not too bad. And there's a couple other states. But I mean, you don't know what's going to happen basically these days from day to day. But I mean, I'm not worried. I'm living in a bubble of peace and joy and happiness because we're helping people transition. Actually, you know, most of the stuff that comes across my desk every single day is negative. If you want to say it's negative, I mean, it's people getting hurt by this or injured by this or whatever. But that's why we're here. So I would say that yourself is, even if you have diamonds, even if you have gold, even if you have cryptocurrencies, even if you have land, it does you no good if you don't have your own health. If you don't have, if you're not healthy enough and, you know, you don't have your own life taken care of, none of that even matters to begin with. So that's
because you can't use it. You don't have the health and the energy to go do it.
You know, you can't use it. So I mean, I've been asked about, you know, what if an EMP hits, and what if this hits, and what if this hits, and all this other stuff. And so, and the third thing on that I would say is learn how to forage and learn how to grow your own food. Look, you can sprout your food, like even in the worst case scenario. If you have seeds available, you can have food to eat in 24 hours. And look, I've gone on a water only fast for 18 days. I know people that have gone 40 days on nothing but urine and water. I've known people to go 80 days on urine alone. You don't have to fear being in a situation like that. You have so much food around you.
This is amazing. Okay, so I want to go back to what you just said because I have heard that. I'm glad we're kind of you know, getting off the crypto topic for a second and going into more health stuff. So I have heard that you can survive off of your own urine for a long time. So how does that work? Like you know, my first question is this: if you were to start the process of urine therapy, urotherapy. Initially, everything that I've done in my life or in my healing journey, initially when I do something different, I always have like a little bit of a reaction. Like there's like something gets stirred up or something, and then I start to get either a previous pain or something in my skin pops up. Like I'm actually doing something right now. I'm trying to stop eating sugar, and this started happening on my face, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like I thought it was the opposite. If I eat toxins, So is there an initial Herxheimer reaction when you start drinking your own urine? And how long can you last just drinking your urine without having to eat food or anything else?
There are stories about ancient gurus and masters and yogis in the Himalayas that have been alive for over 100 years just drinking their own urine. Now, I would not recommend anybody do that because they're also in a state of deep meditation. If anybody wants to go down that, I started studying Breatharianism, where there's been many documented cases of people living on air alone for
breatharians, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called a breatharian. And because in the air, you have water in the air. And in a pure, clean place, you have air. In the air itself, you have pollen flying through the air, which has all the vitamins, minerals, and proteins that you need. You also have water in the air. So I wouldn't recommend anybody doing that kind of stuff, because we're living in a toxic world these days, and it's just, you really have to be in a mental state, and you have to be at a certain level of spiritual awareness or enlightenment to do that. But you could easily, most people could easily do, I like to say 18 days for a water only fast or urine only fast, unsupervised, because urine only fasting actually is way more powerful than water only fasting. But the reason why you're going through that and you're breaking out on your face, and skin is one of the biggest things that starts to pop out, because skin is your largest detoxification organ. That's how you really eliminate most of your toxins on a daily basis. But no one is sweating anymore. And that's what we're losing. See, your body has, there's 5 ways to eliminate things from the body. You actually breathe out a lot of toxins. That's why putting a mask over your face is extremely damaging, because you're shutting down an elimination route. So respiration.
And you're breathing the bacteria back in your lungs, right?
Yes,
it's like
you're breathing the bacteria and the toxins back into your lungs. So respiration and sweating kind of go hand in hand, right? Because when you do exercise, you should sweat and your respiration goes up. So those are the 2 main detoxification pathways, but most people aren't exercising in their sedentary lifestyle. So they're not able to detox themselves efficiently because they're not doing that. And they're not going to sit in that's why all the sweat lodges back in the old days, everybody would always sweat. They would try to sweat every day to push that stuff out. And then you have defecation. Defecation is going to be your bowel movements, is going to be the way that you eliminate the majority of your chemicals and toxins from your body. So respiration, sweating, and defecation. Now, I used to think that urine was also a way to eliminate toxins from the body, and to a certain degree it is. However, the more that I've studied it, I've come to the conclusion that it's not really a toxic waste product like people will tell you and doctors will tell you. I've looked and searched for 12 months to find any case dating back 5,000 years of anyone who's ever died from drinking their own urine. And if anyone has a case, please let me know. I haven't been able to find one. Urine is basically distilled water. It's the kidneys are the best filters in the world. And actually your urine is blood, okay? Everybody in the world has drank their own urine for 9 months straight when they were in the womb, okay? So it's not some woo-woo thing. You drink your mom's urine until your kidneys develop around 3 or 4 months when you're in the womb. And then from that point forward, your skin is bathed in urine and you drink your own urine. That's why the baby's skin is so soft. And in ancient cultures, they would actually prize that urine from the placental sac, and then they would collect the urine from the baby in the and that would be taken to the king's palaces or the high-end royals, and for the women, and the women would use that baby's urine to put on their face and their skin because it was the best therapy in the world.
Wow.
So urine that's why they say the midstream is what you collect. Now you can do tests on your urine and you can find or analyze hormones in your urine. You can find chemicals. You can find different types of things in there. However, those are already broken down and conjugated, so they're not going to affect you. Even if you were to drink it and there were, whatever comes out of your urine is actually sterile and is in the exactly what you need to heal yourself. And people that have urine therapists or urotherapists that have been doing this and working with people for over 20, 30 years, they have never had a case where anyone has had any metal toxicity. They almost say it's a homeopathic that goes back in and causes more of those metals to come out of your system. So it's a
like
purification
it's
process.
Filtering. It's a constant
filtering,
filter.
and then it goes, and then if you drink it again, it goes into your bowel. Okay, each time you drink it, it goes into your bowel, and you eliminate it through your bowel movements. So it's one of the most fascinating things that I've studied, and everything in my 25-year career has always come back to simplicity. It's always come back to you have everything already that you need to heal for free. You have sunlight, which is being blocked out, by the way, by all the geoengineering, and that's why everybody is vitamin D deficient. And I would highly recommend everybody be on 30,000 IUs of vitamin D every single day, because it's extremely hard for you to process. Actually, vitamin D is not even a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. And vitamin D, or let's say hormone D, is needed for many reactions and immune support in your body. I'm really big on D. I'm really big on iodine. If you just look, all you have to do is look at what's been taken away from you, okay? And these are the things that have been taken away from you. Iodine's been taken away from you because fluoride and bromide calcify your pineal gland and take away your spirituality, your third eye. Now, if you don't know, you have two eyes here and you actually have a third eye. If you go through your ears, roughly around right here in the back, you have a third eye. And the medical science actually proves that, because there's only 3 places in the body that has rods and cones. You have rods and cones in your 2 eyes here, and you have rods and cones in your third eye in the back. That's your inner eye. Just like all of the religious texts say, the kingdom of heaven is within. But they want to keep you looking outside for things. They want to keep you diverted, distracted, under control, so you never realize the truth. And the truth is within, going within. So iodine is one of those things that detoxifies your third eye and detoxifies the calcification from the bromide and the fluoride. So D, for example, they've been doing geoengineering to try to block the UVB rays from the sun. The UVB rays are what stimulates your hormone production of vitamin D inside your body. There's not, it's very rare if someone's taking, 30,000 IUs of vitamin D a day for them to ever even get sick, or even all of the studies that we've had over these, let's just say I know we're on Instagram, so I have to be careful. So let's just say the pathogen that people have been dealing with, most of the people, that's why we use vitamin D also to build the immune system, and it works extremely well to keep you safe and keep you healthy. But as long as you're detoxing your system on a regular basis, you're going to be good. When you start the urotherapy, most people, for the first 90 days, or any detox for that matter, the first 90 days, you're going to have all kinds of weird stuff happening to you. You might have headaches. Your skin might break out. Skin is very common. Fatigue, all that stuff. So the first 90 days is always the cleansing and detoxification phase, with urotherapy especially. The second 90 days is going to be when your body starts the recovery phases, okay? Recovery is when your body naturally chooses what it wants to work on and where the low vibrations are inside your system. The body's always going to go towards the low vibrational areas first. And same with disease, as a matter of fact. If you get cardiovascular disease or high blood pressure, that just means that your cardiovascular system is vibrating lower because it was damaged somehow. Or if you get diabetes, your pancreas was damaged. Or if you get arthritis, your joints were damaged. So that's where the body always starts pushing those chemicals and toxins to the low vibrational areas. And then those areas start building up toxins, and then you end up with some symptoms, or you end up with some sort of illness or disease that way. So that's just anytime your body is healing. Remember, most people have been accumulating chemicals and toxins and for 20, 30, 40 years. Okay? So I used to tell people, actually, yes, you can heal yourself, because my job is to teach you how to heal yourself, how to become your own doctor. But you've been doing this to your body for 20 or 30 years. We can reverse it all, but it'll take another 20 or 30 years. Because think about it. That means you're going to have to, every day that you destroyed your body, or you toxified your body, you're going to need 1 day to cleanse your body.
1 to 1? That's nuts.
No,
You're killing me.
I tell people that, and then they say, "Oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to spend 20 years, 30 years." And then I say, "Here's the beautiful thing about your body. Your body has a self-healing mechanism that always wants to get better. It's just you're suppressing your self-healing mechanism every day by adding all this junk and feeding your body junk and exposing your body to junk on the inside and junk on the outside." What if I was to tell you that your body can detoxify 50%, 25 to 50% in 90 days, which means all of those 20, 30, 40 years of damage can be regenerated extremely fast. And I'm not talking about water only fasting or urine only fasting. If you want to get into urine only fasting or water only fasting, you can regenerate the body in incredible speed. I'm talking 18 days, maybe, 20 something days. So the body always wants to heal itself. The body always wants to rapidly heal itself. It's just that we're the only ones preventing it from doing that.
And I love that, because that's a true, it's proof that naturally, without doing anything, right? Stepping away, getting out of in front of yourself, the natural state is to go into that balance, that symbiosis, right? And it's the opposite. It's what they're doing that's difficult, that's hard, that takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of to try to distort and bastardize natural state of being. That's what takes more strength and energy. What you're talking about is like, just sit back and relax. Stop getting in the way of yourself, of your body. Let it heal. This is amazing. I didn't know these numbers. 90. You can so with urine therapy. I mean, you could essentially in 3 weeks have a completely different body if you do that process all the way through. So my question is this: because you said that if you start to do it, you might get some reactions, some healing crisis. So is there a way to compound? The practices, like maybe doing a coffee enema while you're doing the urotherapy?
So I always like to, you can always jump into urotherapy. It's safe at any day that you want. And the thing is, everybody's different and everybody's biochemistry is different. So it's hard to say, hey, you're going to get better. Your body knows. So some people, it might take 3 months, 6 months, even a year of doing urotherapy to completely eliminate or to get back into a state that they really want to get into in health. And again, that also depends at the same time what you're putting your energy into, your external environment and then your internal environment as well. But you're at least you're drinking stem cells. Okay, your urine has over 3,500 components in it, all produced in your laboratory. Urine is one of the most highest vibrational compounds. As a matter of fact, the great alchemists years and years ago, the secret ingredient for the Philosopher's Stone was the crystallizing of the urine. There's a book called the Book of Aquarius. No one even knows who wrote that book yet, but that book explains how urine was the secret ingredient for the Philosopher's Stone. And as you continue to take it, it's just you can't even hardly explain it, because your body becomes so sensitive to, even you'll be able to taste the foods that you ate that were bad over the last 24 hours. A lot of addictions disappear within a month when someone starts urotherapy. They just stop drinking coffee. They stop drinking alcohol. They stop doing drugs. It's magical. it's a magical golden vibrational energy and elixir that will ultimately choose what to heal first in your body. And so I can't, now that doesn't mean that I tell people this, it's like people say, hey, yeah, I've been on urotherapy and I just got, sick. Well, it's like if you walk through the forest, it's not going to prevent you from getting bit by a poisonous snake. Now, urotherapy has been used for years to counteract the snake bites in the jungles in India and South America and everything, because this is fascinating. So you can get bit by a black mamba or you can get bit by a cobra, and within 15 seconds, your urine will develop the antibody and the anti-venom. And then if you drink it, it will neutralize the venom and you will survive. So if you have
That's pretty cool.
if your urine is that powerful, you can only imagine what it can do. And you don't have to necessarily drink it for those people that don't want to drink it. Urotherapy can be used to massage into your skin. It can be used as enemas. You can mix it in with coffee enemas. At the same time, you can put it in your ears. You can put it in your belly button, which there's 72 nerve endings and blood vessels in your belly button. That's where, that it works extremely well there. You can put it in your eyes. You can wash your hair with it. There's so many uses for it. Just it goes on and on. I have a course actually on the Global Healing Institute that teaches people all about urotherapy. And if you go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Group, I've got 3 long, intensive videos there that teach everybody how to use it and the benefits from it. But here's the thing. And the reason why, look, I came out and started talking about this, and I've been completely ridiculed and called a quack. And people warned me about talking about this. They said, oh, some people are saying, I can't believe you had the courage to come out and talk about this. But, the time that we're in right now, look at what's going on in Australia, where people are being rounded up and put into concentration camps right now. I know that if they break down my door and they hold me down and handcuff me and they take me away and they throw me in a concentration camp somewhere and they force me to get injections and they force me to do whatever they, force me to do, I know that I always have the medicine right inside of me to survive. Now, what better feeling is that, knowing that you could be stranded on a desert island, you could be in a concentration camp, you could be anywhere, and you have the antidote and you have the medicine inside of you that you can survive on. I mean, to me, that just
makes me feel safe.
There is no more fear. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what are you fearful of anymore? What do you have everything to heal yourself. And then you can factor in the meditation and you factor in the mindfulness and using your brain to create that powerful energy and to energize it even more. It's just, it goes above and beyond. So that's why, that's why I just decided, look, now's the time to share this information with the world and get it out. You don't have to do it. Study it. Don't believe what I'm saying. I've got a website called urotherapyresearch.com. I've got multiple books on it right here. You can go, there's all kinds of books on Amazon. Do your own research and read. And one of my favorite books is Martha Christie's book, Your Own Perfect Medicine. Your Own Perfect Medicine. She wrote that book in the mid-90s. That's when I was actually introduced to it. And all the doctors back in their natural cancer clinics were using urotherapy. And today there's multiple urotherapy clinics throughout India where they're doing it while people are going through chemotherapy. They're actually having them drink it. So there's many different uses, and it's just one thing. It's one powerful thing. But I also recommend people going through, and I do the same thing. I still take all my supplements. I still take iodine. I still do all that. I keep my gut healthy and clean, take my probiotics. And I still recommend people go through an intestinal cleanse, liver and gallbladder cleanse, a parasite cleanse, and a chemical and heavy metal cleanse at least once, if not 2 times a year. I do all those cleanses every 6 months or once, 2 times a year. And I eat organic and I eat healthy, but we're all exposed to this stuff everywhere we go. It's really hard.
The world is too toxic right now to not be conscious of that and practicing that on a daily basis.
Yeah.
If we're living in a nice world, we're in the jungle with actual sun coming down and you can ground every day. I mean, it'd be different. and we could do things a little bit more naturally. But yes, always be conscious of that. And I always say, make sure you test yourself. If you're not testing, you're guessing. You're just guessing, trying to figure out what's going on with your body. Unless you're drinking your pee, and then your body's just making all the medicine for you in real time. This was an amazing conversation. I wanted to try something different, leave a little time at the end to connect with some questions, if you're open to it. We had a lot of people watching here, and they had some really good questions, actually. As I was reading, I was like, oh, that's a good question. I'm going to ask that question. So if you have a moment here, let's just go through a few. So somebody here asked, this is RV Benny. RV Benny B with Tigger. I've been tapering off all my prescriptions. When can I begin urine therapy? Well, I'm guessing the question is like, can I do it? Do I do it together? Do I have to wait until it's done?
Yeah. So in most of the books that I've had a research team look at it and pull as much research and information as I possibly can over the last 12 months. And so most of the data, over the last 50 years and in the book says, to work with somebody and to slowly, get off your pharmaceuticals before you start, or to be under the supervision, or just not to do urotherapy. Now, that's what the books say. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that because I've had there's so many people on pharmaceuticals. I've talked to multiple urotherapy practitioners about this and asked them the same question. And they basically say, you know what, your urine is always safe to drink no matter what. Now, with that being said, you will have some metabolites, especially if you're on opiates or recreational drugs. For example, I talked to a warden, actually, that was a prison warden, and he said that we were talking about urotherapy, and he said that in prison, the prisoners would take a bunch of methamphetamine. They would take crystal meth. And he said then they would pee on, whenever they had to pee, they would pee on pieces of bread. And they would dry the bread out. And then, because it does come through you, so recreational drugs, opiates for people that are on pain medications, you might have to adjust your dosages, because you will be putting some of those opiates back in your body again. And so basically they would tear off chunks of dried bread and sell those to the other prisoners, because they would have methamphetamine in it and they would get high again. So they would recycle it. And we actually looked at the ancient shamans would do the same thing with psychedelics. So when they were doing their ceremonies with mushrooms or cactuses or ayahuasca or any type of ceremonies that they were doing a long time ago, they would have a surrogate that would eat the mushrooms or eat the cactus or take the ayahuasca or whatever. So they never had to go through that strong detox of like throwing up and doing all this and then like really being hungover for 2 or 3 days. They would have somebody else eat it. And then what they would do is they would collect their pee.
That's amazing.
And then they would drink the pee, so it would already be broken down, and they would still get the same psychological effects, or they would still get the effects of whatever they were trying to do for their journeys. So you do want to be a little cognizant of that. However, I am not. I've had so many people, and so have thousands and thousands of people that have just started right away and not really had to worry about anything regarding their prescription medications. And over time, you should be able to slowly, if you're working with a doctor, reduce those, and the urotherapy would take over. I would recommend that if you are going in for blood tests or urinalysis, to stop the urotherapy for at least a couple days before. Because what we have noticed is people that continue the urotherapy, it is blood, right? Because urine is your blood filter. And when people drink their own urine, like, the day or the morning, then it can mess up the numbers on your blood work and on your urinalysis.
Wow. you just blew my mind with so many pieces of information, especially the just like Justin Harvey here. Hey, Justin, he's saying prison meth bread. Yes.
True story.
True. Yes. Another question here by noble.fawn. Oh, yeah, I didn't really read the question. I just clicked on it. I don't even know what that question is about. Hold on, let me see another one here. Somebody up here asked a question that I thought was really interesting. they asked for the, you know, for drinking, only drinking your own urine for 90 days, let's say, or 20 days. Wouldn't it just stop? Because like you're recycling the same liquid, or are you still creating more liquid as that time progresses?
No, there's been many, it's a great question. Many people have studied that phenomenon and no one really knows how to answer it. However, your body continues because you are exposed and you're soaking in some fluids through your skin, and you, especially if you're showering every day and stuff like that. And then you're also breathing in, but the air is, depending on where you live, has a certain amount of fluid in it. It has water in it. So, the answer to that is your body will, no matter how long you go, continually produce. It will continually produce urine. We haven't found any evidence.
That's amazing to me.
that anyone has ever run out of urine. So even in the Himalayas, where they used to have to take those long treks, athletes, for example. I mean, if athletes were to just, stop, pee, and drink that again, like even hikers that do long hikes up mountains and they drink that, you're getting all those electrolytes and all those components and proteins and vitamins and nutrients right back in, and it just gives you an energy kick. It's really like the purest vitamin, mineral, hormone supplement, that you can put in your system, full of stem cells that help regenerate and cleanse and detoxify you.
Wow. Okay, I have two more questions. Why do people get infections in their bladder then? Shouldn't it already kill that bacteria inside the bladder? Because I've heard of that, like getting kidney stones or kidney infection. So how do you explain that?
Yeah,
if that's your medicine?
So the urotherapy is a medicine that doesn't necessarily keep you from getting sick. For example, with this pathogen that we've all been dealing with, there's been many people that have been practicing urotherapies for years. It's still got a respiratory infection. They still got a cold. They still go through something. If you're exposed to a biological weapon, or if you're exposed to something like that, just because it's there, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to keep you from getting a bladder infection or it's going to keep you from getting sick. However, what it does is it produces the antibodies. It produces what you need to heal yourself. For example, in India, we studied the bladder infections and kidney infections pretty extensively, and they've studied those pretty extensively over there. At least that's where a lot of the research comes from. And even people that have severe kidney infections, to where there's even blood and pus in the urine, they have them drink their own urine, and within 24 to 48 hours, at the longest 72 hours, their kidney infection is gone, as well as their bladder infection. So just because you have the bacteria that you're consuming in your urine is there, even though urine, for the most part, is a very strong, when we say urine is a very strong antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and all that, it means when you drink it and it goes back down into your system because of the antibody production that your body's doing. So think about, like, you breathe in something, your respiratory, or you have exposure to some sort of toxin or virus or bacteria, whatever, or poison for that matter. Well, then your body is producing the antibodies or the anti-venom or whatever it needs to fight that off. And so where it comes out is it comes out through your urine. So as you ingest it, what you're doing is you're ingesting the antibodies and everything. So as those antibodies and everything go back into your bloodstream, and then it goes back through your kidneys and back into your bladder, that's when you're going to have the antibodies that are attacking the bacteria and everything that are in your bladder to begin with. A lot of people ask that question. I was actually asking that question too. I was like, well, if urine is so powerful, how do you get a bladder infection, or what's going on with that? So I talked to many different scientists, many people that have been doing this for years and years and years, and that was the answer that was given to me, is that your body. So like I said, urotherapy will not necessarily always keep you from getting sick, keep you from getting an infection, or keep you from getting a bladder infection, but it is the answer to that. It is the solution. It's the medicine. Think about your body being a laboratory, and anything that's wrong in your body, your medicine is coming out, and you're basically peeing it down the toilet, wasting it. So that's the philosophy behind that.
This is a true golden rule. So last question, I promise, and we can end it. If I want to start, and the taste, I actually tried it, and the taste in my initial, right? It's like you get that initial. So is there anything you can recommend to ease into it, or you just do it? You just pull the Band-Aid and do it.
You can start with just massaging it on your skin. You can start with just a couple drops underneath your tongue, and you don't even really have to drink it if you don't want to. You can mix it in with like a fresh organic fruit juice, or you can put a little lemon juice, it's fresh lemon juice in there. It's psychologically complete. I mean, look, if you're drinking water, your urine is purer than water. Any medical professional will tell you your urine is completely sterile, okay? You can literally suck it up and inject it. I do that sometimes. I'll suck it up and inject it. It's that sterile. It's really like a distilled water, like a triple distilled water. And anything in any water that nature produces is distilled. That's another big misconception that we've been led, is that we should not drink distilled water. We should only be just drinking distilled water. The water in fruit is distilled. The rain is distilled. Nature only produces distilled water, but we've been led to believe that we shouldn't drink distilled water because it leaches minerals from our body. However, what's happening to society is we are literally turning to stone slowly, because we're calcifying the inside of our bodies from all these inorganic, nasty minerals, man-made stuff that we're consuming through the foods we're eating and everything every single day. Distilled water will leach the inorganic minerals from your body, but it won't touch the organic minerals. So we should be drinking distilled water all day, every day, because that's what's helping us. That's what's pulling all these nasty chemicals and organic stuff, and that's kind of what your uropathy is, and your own urine is too. But you can start slow and start with the midstream. Start with your midstream in the morning, catch an ounce, catch 2 or 3 ounces, and you'll know if it's too salty or if it's too pungy. That means you're eating the wrong foods and you're eating too much salt. It's another way to tell you what you're doing, wrong.
I love that. It's like it
communicates with you.
Yeah, it's like a feedback loop, so that you can go, oh, let me adjust this now because I don't like that taste. I love that. I think that's great. And I've heard it plenty of times from people that are practicing, that are like, yeah, in a couple of days of doing that, your pee will start to adjust to what you're eating.
And as you become healthier and healthier, and you start eating more fruits, more vegetables, your urine will have zero taste to it. It'll actually be a very floral, very inviting, to the point where you get to where you don't want to not drink it. It almost becomes like what you thrive and what you want to drink every single day, because as it starts detoxing and cleansing your body, and your body becomes cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner over time, so does your urine, and it becomes almost like something you thrive and you crave over a period of time.
I'm gonna throw my Berkey out and just Berkey filter. This was amazing, Dr. Edward Group. Like always, you have just so much wisdom, so much discernment and knowledge, and I'm grateful for you so much. Thank you. Where can we find you? What are you, put a plug in, give a piece of advice. You got the last word, my friend.
Well, unfortunately, we've been censored everywhere. So the only place that you could follow me is on Telegram, and that's at Dr. Group Official on Telegram. However, you can go to my YouTube channel, which so far they haven't censored the videos on there. That's Dr. Group at YouTube. You can always go to globalhealing.com. Or if you're really interested in changing your life and becoming a healer and understanding the root cause of disease, take our courses at the Global Healing Institute. It's all there to teach you how to be your own healer and how to teach other people how to heal.
Thank you. It's like I always leave these interviews, like with you specifically, like I got to think about my life. I got to think about what I'm doing, about healing. Am I doing it wrong? But thank you. You gave me so much to think about. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Have a good day. Bye.